don't tell anyone. But you're listening to the best kept business secret and his podcast, dedicated to helping you understand the successful business secrets that others don't want you to know, making no secret of success. Now, here's your host and quite possibly the best kept business secret anywhere, Marc Ford.
Hello and welcome to your Best Kept Business Secret podcast with me, your host, Marc Ford, possibly your best kept business secret anywhere. Hello, how are you? Hope you're very well. Okay, today's podcast, I am going to be flying solo and I'm going to be sharing with you some social media mistakes that business owners are making as we speak, which are killing their sales dead. But before we get into that, I have some very exciting news. So much so that I'm going to play you a little jingle.
This show is sponsored by the Small Business Growth Magazine, available online and dedicated to helping businesses from startups to their first million. Download it today.
That's right, this show has got a brand new sponsor in the Small Business Growth Magazine, but not only that, not only that, I am also now European editor of the Small Business Growth Magazine, dedicated to helping businesses from startup to their first million understand how and what it takes to grow their business sustainably. It's read in over 23 countries, thousands of readers all over the world, and it gets relaunched on March the 29th. So you'll be hearing so much more of that stuff. And this podcast will be working very, very closely with the magazine. So you'll see some of the guests in the magazine and some guests that you haven't heard on the podcast yet, where you'll have the full interviews on this very podcast. So excited. Absolutely a great time to be part and listening to your Best Kept Business Secret podcast. Right, so let's get on with the show and let's start talking about social media mistakes that business owners are making right now that are killing their business. Hello. I'm Marc Ford. I'm your best kept business secret. Welcome to the podcast. I'm going to be talking to you a bit about social media engagement and what people get wrong, really. So, let's get started. Now, you see, I'm joking, right? You and I both know that is not exactly how I engage with people. Never have, never will do. But it also goes to show you that within 30 seconds, you can instantly make up your mind about somebody. So, let's try it a different way. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise. It's live. It's here. He's from Leicestershire. He's got a bigger mouth than the Watford Gap. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's your best kept business secret and mine. It's Marc Ford. There you go. See how easy it is to be engaging. Instantly, you would want me to be on stage bouncing around like a freaking lunatic. And invariably, I do. But it also goes to show how easy it is to be engaging on social media. So the whole point of this podcast today is to give you some ideas and some thoughts of what not to do. And then I'm going to give you 2 rules and a habit that you need to keep in mind. Now, you might be thinking, what the hell do I know about social media engagement? I haven't got tens and tens of thousands of followers. Well, actually, I will come to that point later. But you'll also be interested to know that I've helped one particular client go from 0 to 100 grand, selling a very, very cheap product on Facebook. And throughout the year, we've had to be very, very mindful of how he's come across, of how his business has come across. And trust me, there have been some ups and there have been some downs. But there are some massive characteristics of people that are successful sellers on social media compared to those that don't sell anything on social media. So, the first mistake that they make is that they try and sell. Look, let's put it this way. You're at home, you're having a cup of tea, and you're watching the TV, and then somebody knocks on your door. You open the door and there's a bloke stood there in a very nice smart suit with a nice clipboard and perhaps a bag. Hello, I've come to have a look at your windows and doors because I think they need upgrading. I beg your pardon? Well, I think they need upgrading. They look like they were fitted about 30 years ago. Well, yes, they were, but I'm not in the market for double glazing. Are you sure? Because they actually look quite shabby. Now, in that situation, what would you do? You would shut the door because you haven't invited that person round to your home, and naturally, your defensive barriers come up. Because here's the thing. You didn't think your windows and doors were a problem until somebody told you they were, and that's quite painful to hear. So immediately, we're on the defensive. Now, how many social media adverts do you see selling you stuff all the time? They're instantly there. They instantly want you to like their page. You could go onto LinkedIn, you connect with somebody, and they send you a spammy message within seconds asking you to buy their service or buy their product or do this or do that. You've only just met them. You wouldn't do that at a networking event, so why should you do it online? Now, it's a bit like Austin Kleon, the author of Show Your Work, who also wrote the New York Times bestseller Steal Like an Artist. What you actually want is you want people's hearts and not eyes. You see, I'm going to let you into a massive secret. Invariably, all the people that you compare yourself to with tens of thousands, maybe even millions of followers, have probably bought them. Because nobody is that popular. You can't find a business coach that is that popular. Quite simply because he couldn't serve that many people. Okay, we're maybe giving Tony Robbins a little bit of a sideswipe there. But in general, it's impossible. I only have 370 likes on my Facebook page, and that sounds very crap. But actually, it's really good. Because here's the thing. Is that out of those 370 people, I have got 200 people that I have spoken to, I have interacted with, I have talked to, have bought stuff from me, have met me. I've got 200 people that kind of want to walk through walls for me. Out of 370. Could I cope with any more than 200 people? Not really. Not the way my business wants to run. Not at all. So why do we need thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of followers when in fact we don't need them? The trick about social media selling is the first two words. It's social media. The most important word in those two words is social. If you go to the pub tonight, you're not going to go out and sell. If you go to the theatre tonight, you're not going to go and sell. If you're going to go and have a meal with friends, you do not go out and sell. So why do it on social media? So stop selling. Mistake number 2, ignoring negative feedback. Now this actually happens a lot with the big companies. The big companies are very, very happy to take positive feedback, positive reviews, and that's great. But what happens with the negative feedback? Well, invariably you're going to find that big companies tend to ignore it. Unless, of course, you're like Zappos. And if you haven't heard that Zappos story, there is a great book out there. Suggest you go and read it. But look, Zappos came under some criticism from vegans about leather shoes. Here's what they did. They thought about the negative response. And then all of a sudden, we saw this comment. I just found out that Zappos added a category for vegan shoes and products. You don't even know how happy this makes me to find leather-free goods. I just forwarded the link to a group of about 150 people. Thank you so much. Keep it up and please continue to increase your offering. Wow! They created a vegan category. Now, I didn't even know that was possible. For an idiot like me, I thought veganism was more about food. But no, it's about general animal welfare. And this is the thing. And this is the tip, the theory, the strategy that you need to take from this story. Is that rather than reacting to it immediately and badly, Zappos took some time to think about how they could react and reply positively. So much so that this individual then forwards the link to 150 people. Wow, that's an extra 150 customers that they didn't have when the first negative response went up. Mistake number 3. People don't know their audience. There is that saying that if you market to everybody, you are marketing to no one. And unfortunately, it's incredibly true. So, who is your audience? And I mean, who is your audience? Now, if you can grab a piece of paper and a pen, write this down. I know that's very old-fashioned, pen and paper, but hey, this works. I want you to write the word audience vertically. So A at the top, E at the bottom. A stands for analysis. U stands for understanding. D stands for demographic. I stands for interests. E stands for environment. N stands for needs. C for customize. And E, expectations. A for analysis is quite simple. You need to sit down and work out who your ideal customer is. Some marketers will call it avatar, and that's fine. But you need to understand who your ideal customer is. And you need to, understand them. And I mean, understand them. Take some time. I was at a gig yesterday where somebody said that she could help parents of children. Brilliant. Well, that kind of just narrowed it down. Not really, because there are many parents with children. What types of children? What types of parents? What keeps them awake? D, demographic. Are they between the age of 20 and 30? Are they the age of 25 to 45? 35 to 55? What age is your ideal customer? I, interests. Now, I use a great analogy here about golf products. I once saw somebody selling golf products, and it was a really good little product, it has to be said, but they were marketing in a church magazine. Now, when I approached them about why they were marketing in a church magazine, they turned around to me and said, well, it's because it's cheap marketing. Well, unless everybody at your local church actually goes and plays golf, this is fairly pointless. I then asked a very simple question. And the question was, well, are you marketing at the local golf club? And he looked at me like I had just basically dumped in his bed. And I said, well, surely, if they're buying golf products, they are interested in golf. And if they're interested in golf, surely they go to the local golf club. Which means that if you market in the local golf club, you're likely to see your ideal client or your ideal customer. Light bulb moment. So what interests them? What magazines do they read? What books do they read? What kind of common interests do you have with your ideal customer or client? E, environment. Now, you might not think a lot of this one, but here's the thing. I have seen marketing firms drop salespeople off in the middle of a council estate or a local authority estate to sell double glazing and doors. The problem is that most people don't own their own property. So when you drop off 20 people to go canvassing an entire area, is that the right environment? If you are selling a deluxe product, are you going to be marketing it in an area where there is some poverty, where the money is incredibly tight? It doesn't make any sense. So what environment does your ideal client exist in? Then you've got N, needs. Now this is fairly obvious. And I'm going to give you a massive tip here. And it's something that has made companies thousands of pounds in the last 6 months. Every single business is a problem solver. You solve problems for your customers or your clients. So what I'd like you to do on the same bit of paper that you've got in front of you is write down 10 problems that you solve. Next to that, I'd like you to write down an agitator next to each one. An agitator means that if you don't get this problem fixed, this is what's going to happen. And then at the very end, you're going to write a solution for each of those problems. Now, here's the real kicker, guys. I guarantee you that the first 3 problems that you write down are going to be really, really easy. The next 7 problems are going to be really difficult. Why? because I am going to put my mortgage on the fact that you are in fact marketing the top 3 problems consistently. And that's all. So this is what I did with 3 existing clients. I got them to do this same exercise. I then banned them from marketing their top 3 problems that they marketed all the time. They then consistently marketed the other 7. And here's the massive payoff. One business did an extra 10,000, another business did an extra 12,000, another business did an extra 15,000 in a month, quite simply because their existing customers did not know that they solved those other problems. Wow. Yes, they did get new clients on top, but actually a majority of that money came from their existing client base, because they didn't realize that they solved those other 7 problems. They'd never marketed them properly. Then you've got C, customize. Now, here's the thing, and I'm going to tell you a very simple story, or how I'd like it to have been happening in my head. If there is something out there that needs to be solved, a problem that needs to be solved for your ideal customer or client, build something for them. Make something for them. Because here's the thing. Do you know what? One day, Apple released the iPod and everybody went crazy for it. But here's how I'd like the story to have been in my head. That somebody walked into an Apple office somewhere and said, do you know what? I love our iPod. Our iPod is amazing. But I also like my Motorola flip phone. But the problem is I don't want to carry 2 devices. And so somebody in that office went, why don't we make a phone with an iPod in it? Boom. And the rest is history. So if there's a gap in the market and there are problems that you can solve that aren't being solved already, go build something. And then last but not least is expectation. Are you managing your clients and your customers' expectations? What are their expectations? Are they, in my case, expecting a silver bullet? Well, if they are, they're not going to be working with me, because there is no such thing as a silver bullet. No one single person has become an overnight success without at least 3 years of hard graft behind them. And then they're classed as an overnight success. They're not really, it's just that people suddenly become aware of them. So what expectations would your ideal customer and client have, and what can you beat? And there's the real kicker. Can you beat their expectations?
This show is sponsored by the Small Business Growth Magazine, available online and dedicated to helping businesses from startups to their first million. Download it today.
The next thing you want to avoid is being one of these people. Now, these are 15 personality traits, yes, 15 personality traits that are killing your sales. Now, the reason being is that most people in the like, know and trust category will check you out. Websites are no longer the hub of your business, especially if you are a solo entrepreneur or a solo business owner. Quite simply, people will go and check you out on your social media platforms. So here are 15 things, and if you recognize any of these things in you, you are turning off your audience. The first one is the complainer. They are always posting negative updates. They whinge about everything from relationships to the weather or why they hate somebody. They are often found complaining when they get an iPad and not an iMac. The next one is the obsessed. They have to inform everybody of their every movement. They have pictures of when they wake up and when they go to sleep, or whether they've got a cat on their shoulder or whether they've got a dog on their feet. They ask people when they go to the toilet because they are on the toilet. They like their own posts and their status updates. I've actually seen an accountant ask that question about the toilet. Does that make me want to go and do business with them? No. You are confusing engagement with asking stupid questions. You've then got the loser. Now, they seek approval from everybody for their thoughts and their actions. And by that, I mean, I'm going on a first date tonight, guys. Do I kiss him or don't I kiss him? Then whilst they're on the first date, shall I go to bed with him? Shan't I go to bed with him? Nobody cares. They also like their own post and their status updates. The sinner. Yeah, we all know one of these. The status often reads, I can't remember last night. There are loads of photos of themselves basically generally being pissed off their tits with a traffic cone on their head at about 4 o'clock in the morning. They also like every single alcohol page known to man. The problem is, they might be your solicitor. The toddler. Now, the toddler. This business person has an obsession with their own kids. Their profile picture always has their own kids in it, and they post hundreds, and I mean hundreds, of freaking pictures of them, and they tag every mother, honestly, that they've ever met all the time, just so they can say, look at my children, like people haven't had children before. You've then got the gamer. They invite everybody to like their game so that they get free lives. Their newsfeeds show lots of stuff that they've unlocked in Farmville games, and it's just freaking annoying. And do you know what? If you are asking me for lives, if you're asking me to like this game because you need some lives, do you know what that makes me think? You're crap at playing the game. Otherwise, you wouldn't be asking me for lives. You've then got the tagger. Now, they come across every cute cat photo and they tag everybody in it. They come across a lame ass quote and tag everybody in it with the words feeling blessed. They write their own lame ass quote and tag everybody in it with the words feeling pumped. Come on, guys, stop tagging us. Do you know what? It just screams that you just want people to notice you. You've then got the pervert. Oh yeah, the pervert. Look, just stop. Just seriously, just stop. They are known to have thousands of friends on Facebook, of which 80% are attractive, beautiful and semi-clothed women. And generally they combine most of this with looking through people's photos and commenting, "You're so hot." Guys, really not doing your business any good. Then you've got the cleaner. They feel that they need to tell everybody every week that they are having a friend's clear out. Oh my God, I'm having a clear out. Great. Following week, I'm having a clear out. Okay, I'm still seeing this. The question is, why add them in the first place, you dumbass? Come on. We don't need to know. Just do it quietly, silently, nobody cares. It's not doing your business any good. You've then got the drama queen. They persistently post status updates which act as an attention seeker, which prompts other people to ask, "What's up, hun? I'll PM you." And they post long, woe is me stories because someone somewhere called their story inspirational. Now, here's the thing. I got into trouble with this a couple of weeks ago where I saw about 15 different people post really quite depressing stories about stress, anxiety and depression. Now, do not get me wrong here. Do not get me wrong. Because my own story involves stress, anxiety and depression. So I am incredibly happy that people are beginning to talk about it. However, when I posted that actually what they needed to be doing was really giving a solution to what that story meant to their lives, I came under attack from a few people. But then there was one particular status reply that I really took notice of. And I'm not going to claim this as my own, but actually it was a real light bulb moment. And to the people that I've now said this to, they're also taking it as a bit of a light bulb moment. We all have stories. We all have had our problems to get us to where we are right now, inspirational or not inspirational. But as this person pointed out, that those stories can act like an anchor, which is great when the seas of your life are very choppy. So that you can look at that anchor, it's keeping you stable, but it's also reminding you of how far you've come to where you are right now. The problem is that when the seas of your life are very clear, are very gentle, and you have the capacity to move forward, that same anchor keeps you in exactly the same place. I just love that. I really did. So if you're going to post stuff like that, let it have value. Let it have a solution to the end of it. Otherwise, we just think that it's for attention and it won't do your business any good. The next one is the celebrator. They wish everybody happy birthday. They send those messages via Messenger saying, wishing you a happy new year. Keep this going. Keep that going. No, because guess what? That message stops right here, right now with me. You've then got the denier. They are a victim of massive brainwashing and they violently disagree with everything that everybody says. Now, please do not take this that I say that people shouldn't have opinions. I do. But when you are vehemently and nastily criticizing people for having a different point of view, that is not doing your business any good. But you're also brainwashed to the fact that, some of these guys still believe that the US blew up their own twin towers, global warming is an old wives' tale, and actually the world is still flat. There are business owners out there like this. You've then got the self-obsessed. It's all about them. They are posting about themselves in the third person. They say they're rich. They say they're a coach. They say they're this. They say they're that. But they can't even afford to pay their own freaking gas bill. They pontificate with no facts to back up any of their claims. And then you've got the infamous one, finally. It's all about them. They think they are a legend in their own bath time. They think that social proof is posting a picture of themselves stood next to a Ferrari. They have got a small amount of fame within a small group of people, and they think they are the next Tony Robbins. You've then got the copycat. They then start posting in the same style as somebody else. They start using the same words. They try to be someone else. They are not authentic. And guess what? People see through it. You've then got people who post so much on so many different things that people don't actually know what you do. I've actually seen things on LinkedIn where people have given themselves job titles or descriptions of what they do that make no freaking sense. Now, I'm going to give you a tip at actual one-to-one physical networking, and this does work. If somebody comes up to you and asks, "What do you do?" I want you to reply back with a question. Now, the reason why you should do this is because quite recently I saw somebody approach someone and they said, "What do you do?" And they said, "I'm a life coach." And immediately they spun on their heels and they walked away. Now, that's quite cutting for that particular life coach. And I understand with the reputation that life coaches get that people should feel that way. But here's the thing. This is how that life coach could have potentially turned that round. That individual could have gone up to them and said, "Do you mind me asking what you do?" The life coach could have turned around and said, "Would you mind if I just tell you a very quick story of exactly what I do, and it will demonstrate what I do and how I do it?" "Well, yes, please do." "Well, when I was 16, I ended up with agoraphobia. I was stressed, I had anxiety, and I had depression. I did not leave my house for over 6 months. I found mechanisms to cope and ways to beat it, so much so that just going down the bottom of the road for a pint of milk was actually a glorious exercise that I look forward to every single day. I now help those types of people open the door, step out the door, just to go and get a pint of milk. I help those people open the door, step out the door, and go to work every single day. Does that explain what I do?" Boom. You see, facts tell. Stories will always sell. The last mistake that people make is they ignore evolution on social media. They wait for somebody to tell them that the algorithm has changed, or they wait for somebody to say that something's not quite working. Only the other day, Facebook had its biggest outage ever, and people were running around like Chicken Little, and the sky was falling in. Guess what I did? I switched my phone off, went to the pub and watched the football. Great. Didn't bother me in the slightest. Here's the thing. If you are sticking all your eggs in one basket, you are in massive danger of ruining your business. Don't ignore evolution. And so to the end of this podcast, here are the 2 rules and the one, how can I put this, habit that you need to take up. So the first rule you need to remember, social media, it's not about you. It just starts with you. Like everything in business, it's not about you. It's about your customer and clients. It's about what value you can bring to those customers and clients. They do not give a stuff about you, your pets, your family, your personal life. They just need to know how you can help them solve a problem. So remember, it's not about you, it just starts with you. The next rule you should remember are these. Every time that you post something on your social media for your business, remember these questions. What, why, where, when, who, and how. Every single post that you put out there for your social media should be ruled by those questions. What, why, where, when, who, and how. And then lastly, the only habit that you need to remember. There is no coincidence that listen is an anagram of silent. If you have nothing of worth to say, nothing of worth to tell your audience, then stay silent. Because you will learn more by watching what your ideal customers and clients are talking about than you will ever do by pontificating and waffling and trying to be famous. Wow, that's it for this podcast. I hope I haven't really damaged your brain too much. And do you know what? If you disagree with me, come find me, come tell me, come and engage with me. You can get in touch with me via my website, which is www.marcford.uk. Use the contact form, get in touch with me, tell me what you think, that would be great. But if you're also visiting that website, which is www.marcford.uk, you can sign up to my email list. And guess what? I am going to give you a free digital copy of my latest book, which is 101 questions for business owners. So get in on that. You can also find me in my usual places. You can find me on Facebook, you can find me on LinkedIn, you can find me on Twitter. Guys, until next time, you have been brilliant. I have been awesome. Go out there, be even more brilliant than you already are, and I will see you very, very soon.
Shh, don't tell anyone. But you're listening to the best kept business secret and his podcast, dedicated to helping you understand the successful business secrets that others don't want you to know, making no secret of success.